Get started. Sorry, it's a little bit late.
Just complaining about North-South Road, I guess. North-South Road.
Oh. You want to take an agenda and pass it down?
Agenda.
And
We're talking about the roundabout.
It just depresses me.
And how bad the AutoZone
this
looks?
looks like minutes from the last meeting.
Yeah.
I was in the bank the other day, and I've never heard anyone say this. Well, I actually heard, but I block it out usually, but I couldn't help this morning. A woman came in, she said, I said, "So are you up for shopping?" And I was like, oh my God.
One for me.
That's what we're known for now. It wasn't, are you here to go hiking, skiing, biking? Are you up to go shopping? I was like, oh my God.
Oh, it might be because it's November. Maybe.
It should never be a
Everywhere
reason.
has their
There should
Christmas
never be a
stuff out
reason
already.
that we
really?
Yes,
make
yes,
our
like
town.
aggressively.
Well, I guess we don't have an excuse to wait till the last minute now, do we?
Destination.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like,
That's not-
oh.
Yeah, let's leave one there in case.
So long.
I got one.
All right, let's start by reviewing the minutes from the October meeting.
Everybody? Yeah. All right.
Who put, that's awesome. Who put Shakur Lake in capitals? Who wrote these up? That's fun.
Susan.
Susan, that's fun.
Capitals.
Who suggested virtual reality goggles?
I was trying to figure out what the VR was. That's what that is. Virtual reality.
I don't remember that conversation at
That'd
all.
be a really good idea, then we wouldn't have to walk to the well.
Great.
Put 'em-
Yeah.
Put 'em on.
Just sit in the closet.
Just check them out from the library.
I don't remember that ever coming up.
Just
That's
leave
just
it
to
like
catch
that.
our attention, make sure.
Right,
we're
to see if we're
really
I
paying
paying
suppose so.
Yeah, I wonder how long this would last there.
What was that?
The virtual reality goggles, I wonder how long that would last.
I've only seen one thing to change, which is the deadline for submitting our easement monitoring to SPNIF is December 31st of 2016, not November.
I just saw that our meeting,
I think we were trying to make it November to try, it was a little late going.
Okay,
Sleight of hand to get us to actually get it on.
gotcha.
But that's good to know. Since it is November.
Since it is
I mean, I haven't
November.
done it yet.
I think we adjourned at 6:28, not 5:28.
Oh, that's probably a good point.
It was a negative 2-minute meeting.
That was already daylight.
We wish.
Time was off at that point.
We started at 5:30 and ended at 5:28. Not bad.
We're good. Doesn't say what day.
Also, your name is misspelled, Tom.
Oh, yeah. It sure is.
I wasn't gonna be
There's
picky,
one.
but
Is
hers.
it EI?
Oh, yeah, 2 L's, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
2 L's on the end?
Oh, no, in the middle of Pam's last name. Mine is the E and the I are switched.
I before
Which
D,
one?
except after C, except as in.
You got 2 E's in there.
Wait, where's the deadline that you said?
It's about
Oh.
mid-page on the first.
Our deadline is December 31st.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I saw one misspelling, but that's Dave's job. He's not here. Somewhere there's an address with 1D. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Where's David when we need him? He wouldn't let that slip.
Does anybody want to move to?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I will second that.
All in favor? Great. The minutes have been accepted with the corrections, mostly typos.
I kind of wanted to say something about Shakora Lake just to keep it in the minutes for a 4th month in a row. I was just letting it by, it's not gone away. It's been there at least 3 meetings in a row, so I kind of want to say something just so it's in there again, but it's okay. We'll let it drop. Be my running gag.
And it's actually Lake Jacoro.
Yeah. That's funny. Wait, today's the 7th, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
right, big
good
day.
lord.
I should have read my agenda. It would say right there. All right. Looks like we don't have any public comment. Go right on to the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commission. Just another reminder, if anyone is interested in attending, it's the annual meeting. It's this coming Saturday, November 12th, from 8 to 4 in Pembroke, New Hampshire, where you can learn about wildlife management, easement stewardship, and conservation funding.
That wasn't so far away.
I feel
Yeah.
the same way, and my parents are here, but anyway, it does look good. But all right, and we got our bill for our dues for 2017 for the amount of $266. I would suggest that we continue to be members of the New Hampshire Conservation Commission or whatever association. Someone like to move to? Can I move? Can I move? How does that work? Or do I have to have someone else?
I don't know.
Oh, you just sit
I think you
there.
can make a motion.
I think
All
you
right.
can make a motion.
I make a motion to pay the 266 annual.
I second that.
All
How
in
much is
favor?
it?
200. Yeah.
I'm not caught up yet. I'm still
So we have to divide
writing the
that
minutes.
by 6 right now.
All right.
Can't leave until you,
All right. Great. And that's it for the Association of Conservation Commissions. Somewhere I got their annual update. I don't really remember what it was. I guess if you attended the annual meeting, we would know the annual update, but I don't think
What
they
do you mean
got.
by the update?
They got a new president, maybe had to cut a couple
Oh,
positions. I don't
right.
know. There was some jiggering of how the organization works and what they can offer to members, which basically seems to be a bunch of online resources for things that we might want to take on, like how to accomplish certain goals or that sort of thing. Basically help us do our jobs.
What's the name of it? The New Hampshire
New
Association?
Hampshire Association of Conservation
Conservation
Commissions.
Commissions.
There's
All right, and then on to conservation easements. The letters went out. We have the certified mail returns here, so everybody got their letter. We had 2 actual responses. I think I forwarded one to you and Dave
The Tilneys.
with the Tilney's email address, and I think I forwarded one to you from
Burgess.
Burgess. Yep, and it included the phone numbers of both trustees.
Really? You'll have to do it again.
Okay.
Because I walked the property. I didn't see it.
I just sent it out this weekend. I got the email maybe in the last week.
Okay, I'll double check.
And saw it this weekend. But yeah, I can send it to you again. The take home was one of the trustees will be here on the 23rd before Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Otherwise, there's the other trustee lives in southern New Hampshire if you wanted to meet with them in person.
Yeah, I would. It'd be cool.
I responded that we didn't need to meet with them in person, but we preferred to either meet or talk.
Yeah, probably met him before, so it would be cool to.
Which one is Burgess Highland? Which one's that one?
Moody Farm Road,
Okay.
the Overlook, not the Overlook Farm, but
Oh, the
pond is-
node, that big.
yeah, well,
Gotcha.
the Overlook is the big White House, but towards Spruce is where that little pond is.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
house
Okay.
across the street.
Yeah.
That's part of the Burgess and Highland Trust.
Gotcha.
So it's,
Kind of both sides of the road.
yeah, it kind
Oh, so
of
it's pretty
borders the
big.
Badgers. Yeah, it is big. It borders the Badgers property and then all the way down to like.
Oh, so it goes all the way up to the bed? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Up, do you know like the Knoll? the
Yeah.
Knoll hiking trail? That's part of the Burgess property. And then
Mm-hmm.
all the way down to Sugar Hill Lane, the cul-de-sac,
Oh.
down to the Wildcat Valley Trail. So it's pretty neat. It's hard to know the boundaries though. So.
Yeah, and it kind of can, I mean, it's neat in that it can more or less connects like the Black Mountain Ridge
Mhm.
to the valley with,
Yeah.
with continuous conserved land.
It's a lot of nice walking. There's a lot of good area to.
What's the Knoll hiking trail? I don't know
Oh,
that.
you've never been up the Knoll?
No.
Oh, you gotta go look it up in your book. It's the old classic.
In
You
your book?
either?
No, I haven't.
Good grief.
All right.
Got some homework.
All
You don't
right.
know the Knoll either?
Field trip.
All right, I'll have to learn.
It's the Knoll.
Yeah, we gotta have a CC field trip, it's a good idea.
You've been up the Knoll?
All that field trip.
Which knoll are we talking about?
The Knoll on Black Mountain? The old Knoll hiking trail?
Well, I've been up the straight one over by.
Wait a minute.
Is that the one that goes up on
Behind
the
Chesney
cliffy
Farm?
area on the west side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got
Oh.
lost up there with Pietro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you'd go up with Piotro's probably.
We bushwhacked that one time.
But apparently there's a hiking trail.
Yeah, but we saw the cairns after we had bushwhacked.
Yeah,
and we
it's
were like,
bushwhacking.
"Oh, Other people have been
It's
here.
really tricky up there too, because you can get really lost up on that fault. There's a couple of fault
There's
summits
some,
up there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We should call it the Knolls.
The Knolls. I like it. Does anyone have any questions or need information to accomplish their easement monitoring?
Well, Tom,
Well-
you said you wanted to get rid of one because you
Yeah.
did two.
Yes.
I mean, I could abandon Dave. He can do Tony's and I do Gabriel.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll let Dave.
Okay, sure, you don't have to.
Hey, Tom, you said
Oh, no.
all the
Is she
letters went out
around?
or are ready to go out?
They went out.
She could be. Okay.
But
So
that was pretty
the
easy.
letters
It's all, like,
said
developed.
that we contacted the person that we had on record as
Mhm.
either the owner or the trustee of the properties and said that we would be contacting
I
them
remember that, yeah.
and only, so they're expecting a call or some contact from each one of us that has.
Mhm.
I might have Lori's email from the
Yeah.
solar array.
So you need
whatever.
phone numbers or,
I don't think my person really exists.
Also,
Who's your
did
person?
we, because I have the information
Yeah,
from
they do.
Wildcat Trust,
They do?
but
Yeah.
With
Which
an
house,
E.
which house
do we
is
know if we
theirs?
tried to
Oakland?
notify
Yeah.
them?
At the end of Carter Notch Road,
Yes,
right
I-
before
I
Joy
the-
White.
couldn't- I didn't have a phone
Take
number.
a right.
the letter went to whatever
No.
address was on record.
Oh, it did.
And I don't know if I got a phone number out of it.
No.
I could look through that spreadsheet.
The tax
Okay.
maps.
Yeah, we
had,
could
like,
flip through
different
these to
names
see.
So that was on the Jackson
on
letterhead and all that stuff?
Yes.
My
Okay.
property.
Property abuts George
So that
Howard.
was.
Yeah.
I have the-
George
I have the
Howard,
address. It's-
Oakland.
But it also has,
It looks like a
part of
law
my
firm of
property
some
had
sort.
Jackson.
Yeah, law firm in
Street.
Boston.
So
Right,
I didn't
exactly.
send them a
Yeah.
letter.
Okay.
Charles Clapp the
They
third.
would only
Yeah.
Yeah.
use
So you
the
sent that
saucer
out already?
and
Yeah, so it went
trail.
out probably
Right.
soon after the
Or
last meeting.
license.
Holcomb
Okay.
goes,
And we only got 2 responses out of the
Yeah,
7
know their
Holcomb
first
as
is
far
names?
as
Okay.
updated
Yeah.
contact information
go
or
on
that
to
sort of
the-
thing.
Okay.
Although it must be. in
Yeah, I don't
the- it's in
know
the
how best to-
cabinet, Unless they.
I can ask
it was
tomorrow. I'm gonna try to
transferred.
come in tomorrow and take
Do
a
you
walk.
Good to
have
get a
other
copy
record
of
over the
the
years of
easement.
getting in
That's what
contact?
Yeah.
I would do.
Not
And
that
the
I
nice
know
thing
of,
is
but I can
have
poke
the-
around tomorrow.
my
No, that's fine.
See what
stuff from
yeah,
the-
I don't know.
From the solar.
You know about as much as I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be a really good idea if they were able to get. a
The
copy of
Wildcat
that.
Valley Trail goes right
Um,
through it from.
I already did
Carter
mine,
Carter
and I
Ridge.
talked to Tim Mountain, and I did everything, but I never spoke to Seth Rockwell, and I don't know if that
Margaret, you can
matters.
also just go and check the record.
I don't think it
Put their
matters
names right on.
either.
I mean, Seth Rockwell is technically
Because
the
there's
From
another
that
Holcomb.
map out there?
Yeah.
owner.
It's,
You know, I honestly don't know if he owns the building, like if he owns the house up there, or if he
So it's
is
just.
Oh,
still
if
the
they, like-
landowner.
So it's
Yeah,
in
that-
the,
or just
and-
Tim Mountain
it's in the
on
tax
land.
records.
Like-
I think- actually, I think he does.
I think the Rockwell's still.
I think the Rockwell's actually on it.
Okay,
Because there's a couple of
I'll
Rockwells.
check.
Yeah, it's there's Seth
And
who
the
comes
easements are
out
back there?
for like a couple weeks in the
So they should
summer,
all be back.
and then there's like a cousin that comes over from Vermont
That's right,
occasionally.
she's a goat
It
farmer.
was the grantor.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
met her at the Freiburg Fair at the Tin Mountain booth.
Yeah.
I get the only.
So, I don't know if, I mean, I don't know, I talked to Mike and Lori about it.
Yep.
I went and walked all the property boundaries, I ended up, was the Tin Mountain, you gonna build anything on this? No, we're not gonna build anything on this.
Yeah.
Other than trail maintenance is the only thing that's happened up there.
I'm sure it's fine. The only, last year when we were having all the difficulty filling out the online form, the one one of the bits of feedback I got from Spiniff is, one of the things they're mainly interested in is, in terms of talking to the owners, is just updated contact
Okay.
information of the owners.
Alright.
So it's both, is it going to be developed? Have they developed it? Have they broken the terms of the easement? And maintaining an accurate record of,
Well, if Seth got a letter, maybe I should just at least email him and say, I've already done this. Yeah, he did.
and were you able to fill out the online form?
I have not done that yet.
Okay.
But I've done everything
That's your
else.
instructions, that's really helpful.
Oh, did you send the
I printed
instructions?
those out, yeah, Tom printed them out.
I did. I sent them to everyone. I can
And they
resend
were-
them.
they were
Recently?
good Passwords.
It could have been your AMC account. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it was
It
probably an
would've-
MC account,
I can resend them to you.
which is no longer.
Yeah. Yes.
Do the town monitorings, do we have a form?
No, we don't have a form.
It's just a verbal
Yeah.
report?
Yep. And we could come up with a form if we wanted to. We don't have a system yet, since this is the first year we're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Wildcat, the Gabriels, and the Holcombs, it would be just to talk to them, and we could come up with a form if we wanted to have something to put in the filing cabinet. All right.
Were you looking for a name for the Wildcat Trust?
It was,
Someone,
Clap.
someone else signed it though. Maybe that's a good person to call.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Someone else
All
signed
right.
it.
Milton
Any other
Holcomb?
conservation easement questions?
I'm just trying to see if I got that from you.
All right. I could
I don't know if
have,
that's-
Is that
I
enough?
CC'd you on
I
my
can't even
reply
read it.
to
I don't
the,
know.
I forget the woman's name, I'm sure it's on that. Who was the
Yeah, or Maud. No, Nadia.
corresponding trustee?
but that,
Dell.
it's
So I can
sent
maybe
to a
refer
law
it to
firm.
CC.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, so this could have been anyone, yeah, that could have been anybody that signed for
Well,
it.
I'm
They
gonna
went
make
to
this
law
like
firm.
small.
This is fun, I like
Hi,
this.
Marge and
It's
Alex.
like a
Yes.
ticket.
Yeah, I know. Well, I noticed because
That's
the
it.
person, like this one, I was like, these names don't match up.
Yeah.
No,
I'm sure it's
personal.
whoever.
That one's kind of strange. I'm not gonna say it on film. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who that person is.
All right, on to Prospect Farm. I don't, interpretive signs. I know we read them, well, wait.
Sorry. Sorry.
Prospect Farm interpretive signs.
We met earlier today about it.
We did.
And I have a copy of what we had last time. I don't know if we want to bring that up or just come up with a plan on how to move forward.
We haven't officially amended the first one, so
Okay.
it's not written down, changed. But we did talk about it. And
We need to get back, we need to reevaluate and get a big picture of you first, I think.
we were talking about whether or not it actually matters and if anyone cares.
Well, I know George cares.
Cool.
Fair. Yeah.
I don't know, my wife brought up an issue point tonight where she was just like, why are you doing this? Is there like, do the people demand that this happens? Is it something, or is it just gonna be something that sits up there and rots and slowly falls apart and then becomes junk?
Can you just repeat that?
The signs, whether or not we need an interpretive trail.
I agree.
And this whole time I've been like, oh, well, let's do it. And she asked me, and I just didn't have a concrete, I didn't have like a, yes, because of blank. Nothing came out of my mouth, so, I don't know, I just was relating that to Margaret earlier today.
And I can see both sides.
Yeah. I think identifying the cellar holes,
Yeah,
It's
it's
good.
historical stuff.
I think it's good.
And labeling them. I also, I mean, I guess personally, I kind of think it's if you build it, they might come. You
Yeah.
know, where people go up there and they're like, hey, the cellar holes are like signed, and they'll like send others up, and as they like hike up to Hall's Ledge, they'd look at least the cellar holes along the Hall's Ledge trail.
Yeah.
And maybe never see the other ones, but.
It struck me when I was up there twice last week. Well, you guys go all the time too. But it struck me the other week that I feel like, and maybe I'm just kicking this can, but I was like, other things need to happen first. Like before we get interpretive signs up there, I was like, we just need to do the signs. Like
Or
and-
trail signs for.
Yeah, we just need
Basic.
We need trail signs,
I
and we
agree.
need it's so strange to me that you drive. I was thinking, you drive up there and you have no idea. Like the first time I ever went up there, I was like, I thought it was on someone's private property because there was like Camp Gat was sitting there, and I was like, what is this? Where do I go?
Yeah.
And then there's Forest Service gates,
Right.
and it's easier now that there's a
sign.
Yeah.
the trailhead. There's a Forest Service parking lot, but I don't know. I just
Town
thought
property,
even.
a town parking lot, a dual-use parking lot.
It's pretty clear up there at the moment.
It is now.
Once you start hiking on the trails, like if
Yeah.
you don't know where the trail is. So at the very least, accurate signs need to be put up.
Accurate signs and, a little bit of information. Because I feel like if you don't know, you drive up there, you park, like, okay, I know how to hike on the Bog Brook Trail. Sign this. So here's Bog Brook Trailhead.
Yep.
How would I get to, we talked about this, like how would I get to Hall's Ledge?
There's a new sign there.
Is there a new sign now?
The Forest Service put up in the last month.
Where is it?
It's right under the Bog Brook sign.
It's right under the what?
The Bog Brook sign
At the parking lot?
at the parking lot. So you park your car, there's the 4x4
Didn't even
post
see it.
with the Bog Brook, hiking trail sign.
Yeah.
Immediately underneath it is a sign that says Hall's Ledge Hiking Trail, or it says Hall's Ledge Trail, and then the two destinations underneath it are Hall's Ledge, whatever the mileage is.
Yeah.
With an arrow pointing you towards
All
the
right.
enter.
Towards the, like up, kind of that way.
Yeah, and then there's one that says Route 16, how many ever miles, same direction. And
that's
then they
good.
put up a second sign, so if you're standing at that and you're like, okay, it says to go right, there's a little sign on a tree that's not painted that says Hall's Ledge Trail, and it points you uphill.
We're all set.
Oh, that's good.
And then once you get there, you'll see our kiosk and,
Close.
I didn't even see it. I missed both those things.
yeah.
I
Hey,
didn't
can
notice
you
them
reach
either.
this to the outlet behind you? I'm gonna lose power.
Maybe there were cars up there. I don't know what I probably noticed is the fact that there are two guys up there moose hunting. So there are two guys sitting there with beers and large rifles. When I walked in, when I parked my car, that's probably diverted most of my attention. Okay, cool. Then we need to flip the sign. That's what I want to do now. That needs to happen too.
Yeah.
That's on the list of things that should happen.
One thing I was noticing,
What's that?
First thing is flipping the sign.
Flip that sign.
So you can see it.
So you can see it. So it makes sense. You're driving up and you're like, oh, and it should say, does it say Prospect Farm on it real big?
the top of the map does,
Top
not
of the
real
map
big.
does.
Right, okay. One thing I noticed about the sign is if we turn it, like we've been talking about, the map will no longer read
Oh, as you're standing.
as you're standing. So right now, when you're facing the map, the roads go to your
Right.
left is that way on the
Right.
map, straight is that way on the map, and if we spin it, it won't match the roads as you're standing.
Are we talking about doing that just so you're drawn to it?
You can't
Yeah.
just say you
So why don't we
are
put a
here.
sign facing
Yes, because
perpendicular to it so you see the
see
sign?
the end, yeah.
Right, maybe that's.
We could put a Prospect Farm.
Right.
Yep. Right.
Or you are here, right? Is that what you said?
It does say you are here.
Oh,
It's
so-
just that right now the map is
Right, it's,
north matches north in real life.
Gotcha.
When you stand in front of it,
Mm.
even though it's up in the air. It's if
Yeah.
you laid it down, it's
Right.
printed as if north and east and west are actually in the right direction. If we spun it,
So if we spun it, because right now it's like you're staring at the sign and you got one road going that way, one road going that way.
Yeah.
And if we spun it,
They're
yes.
gonna be facing.
it would look like that. It might almost look like you go back.
I think
Yes.
we just need a new map in general.
Yes, and we've gotten feedback on that from the town office in that someone came in to ask for a mat, like a handout, because the school put up their
Right.
little thing and there's a
Right.
thing as if they had a little handout
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So now it looks like there is supposed to be map handouts. So somebody said, hey, the map handout thing is empty, and they came to the town office to get new printouts. And the town office said, we don't have any handouts of maps. and tried to print it out for them, and they went to the link to the PDF of the current map on the website, and because it's spaced to print a huge one, if you try to print it on 8.5 by 11, you can't read it. So immediate feedback we got from this, I presume it was one user, is that there's no sticking handout,
So
kind of.
have a
So
suggest
could we
something you
take
can
down
print
the
out.
box?
We could take down the
If-
box.
If the Jackson.
Because I don't know if all
School
those
isn't
numbers
gonna
still
do it anymore.
correlate to, like, I don't know if all those numbers are still even up.
The numbers are still on the trees. There is no map. The school map is no longer there that tells you what the numbers on the trees are.
So
And that's totally separate from
Right.
our map of,
That was Dexter's.
of Prospect
There.
Farm.
I can ask Dexter, I'll see him tomorrow.
Yep. So I guess I would, yeah, all right. To back up to the big picture of Prospect Farm, I think we should come up with a big plan, and I'd also like to come up with actionable items we could do in the next 2 months so that we could spend some of our remaining budget on these things before the end of the year. And if it's not going to be interpretive signs, then maybe it would be routed signs if we want to get routed signs. And I don't know if this is, I could ask the sign maker at the AMC
Mhm.
if they take on outside jobs and see what it would cost to get signs routed there.
Mhm.
Because the sign maker comes in for the winter time to make all the signs for next year.
Mm.
And I know he does stuff for the RMC also.
That's cool.
Is that George?
That is George. Yeah.
Do we know what our priority is among the things that we've just talked about? Because if we have limited funds, it might be good to
Yeah.
decide.
Yeah, because it'd be good to spend down our, our small budget. I mean, we could always dip into like our, what is it called?
But would you say that the priority is trail signs or turning the sign, new plan?
Well, I think we talked about trail signs, and maybe there was only 3 that were needed.
Yeah, and 2 of which are there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We said replacing the one where Wildcat goes up and Hall's Ledge turns left, right?
Mhm.
Because there's an
And-
old broken arrow sign there.
And at the orchard.
And at the orchard, yeah, and at the
'Cause you
orchard.
can't tell that you're supposed to keep going
Yeah.
straight up.
So is that 2 signs then?
Yes. What was so one at the,
Do you think there, I actually think there is one. I forget the name of the cellar hole where the quail trail goes to the left and there's one immediately there on the right. I think there might be a sign like on the tree that's directly in front of the cellar hole, but if you're
Right-hand
walking up, you might not see
Is
it.
there a ski touring sign?
There's one for sure that says quail trail on the
Yeah.
left side.
Yeah.
And I think there might be another one on a tree like tucked up under on the right.
I think it's just blocked by branches. It's up pretty high, right?
Does it say Hall
I
Sledge?
think it might, but it's,
yeah,
So maybe we can just
Just
move
blocked.
it and lower it.
yeah. All right. Okay, so interpretive signs, trail signs, and the kiosk. The 2 trail signs we could get new or move, sounds like we could do. I wrote up a draft of trail sign guidelines, since we have no rules about like how we actually sign our own trails.
Mm-hmm.
So I can pass this around if you guys want to take a look. That way, if we get signs made, maybe we can make them all
We'll
standard
already
from now on.
What was the final result of the sign? 2 trail signs, the kiosk, and what was the last thing?
Interp, trail, and kiosk.
Okay.
I also started to work on that's the next subject. All right, so we'll table.
do we know all the mileage? I'm just curious. I mean, is there,
I don't. For the Hall Trail, Hall's Ledge Trail.
Well, that's got to be,
The Forest Service sign has it at like 3.3 or so for the total distance over to Route 16. And to the viewpoint is like roughly half, maybe a
that's
little over.
I guess it's like a mile and a half, 1.4 or something like that.
Yeah, the Forest Service, I believe, use the distances in the White Mountain Guide.
This look good?
I like it, Tom.
All right.
I think it looks good. I think I'll go back to what I said at the last one, which is that I think we should talk to ski touring and just have one one sign, one standard thing, versus having like a Jackson Conservation Commission style sign
Yeah.
and a ski touring style sign, is just have like signs.
Well, I guess I see it.
Are there any trails that you ski but don't hike, or hike but
Yeah,
don't ski?
it does get a little bit,
I mean, I guess it would be hard because currently all of the ski trail signs are made by Jackson Cross Country. So either we would have to adopt their standard, which I particularly don't like for hiking trails,
Mm-hmm.
or we would need to force them to make Prospect Farm different than the rest of their signs. So their current this is without actually knowing what their standard is, but it appears to be trail name with
The
either
difficulty thing.
the difficulty
Yeah.
and a dog paw if it's a dog trail or not.
Yeah.
And it has no, and they generally don't have arrows in the secondary lines of destinations and stuff, and they kind of seem to just put them down the trails rather than at a post at the intersection.
And they'd be in kilometers if they did.
Yeah, and they'd be in kilometers, not miles. So I guess I just thought it'd be easier to treat, because there's one, I guess I see the trails up there as in two camps. One is the trails that are actually in the Way Mountain Guide, basically, which is the Hawes Ledge Trail and the Hutzman's Trail, which isn't on town property at all.
Yeah.
And then the cross-country ski trails, which we happen to have adopted their name basically for our ease of communication. And basically they're using old roads, which also have Forest Service names and probably town names that we don't even know.
right, right.
You know, so we've basically decided to use the cross-country name for a hiking trail name. Even though it's not in any actual hiking guide anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on our map. So I just thought it would be the least amount of replacing if we, you know, had Jackson keep theirs the way Jackson Cross Country keep theirs their way, and just treated the Halls Ledge hiking trail as a hiking trail and did that to our standard
So, okay, and then not sign anything else that's there.
and not sign anything else.
Right, because that's basically all we're talking about is the Halls Ledge
The
Trail.
Halls Ledge.
Yeah, that's really all we're talking about up there. And then eventually it would be the Mystery House Loop. It's the only other one that we would want to get signs made for. That would need to, you know,
Look like that.
look like this.
I have one comment on this.
Mm-hmm.
If a trail runs on a logging road, blazes should not be used. I would still like blazes on a logging road.
For like the Halls Ledge Trail.
Yeah, I think so.
I was just
'Cause
thinking,
I've been on trails that turn into logging roads, and I wonder, did I miss where it turned off? Am I still supposed to be on this road?
the standard that, I mean, I guess what I was thinking is that it would have those arrows. Like if you left the woods and went onto a logging road, that there should be like one of these little mini signs. Like
Mhm, like when you come out of the Dana Place Trail?
Yes. And then you would know you walk on the logging road, and then that there would be another mini sign directing you off of the logging road, and then you'd see a blaze in the woods as soon as you left the logging
If you
road.
get distracted, you might miss it. And it's nice to like, when you look up, you're like, oh, good, there's one, I'm
Yeah.
still here.
I just thought we would, yeah, potentially there'd be blazes everywhere on all of the logging roads. Because every logging road you could argue is a trail, and they would all just have yellow blazes. But I guess the Halls Edge Trail is the only actual hiking trail.
Yeah, I don't think you need to put them on all the other logging roads.
If the only thing that we're going
But-
to call a trail and maintain is Halls Ledge, then it could. And I agree with you that I don't really like the ski touring signs either. I don't find them.
Yeah, me neither.
But they do have names.
I don't know if there's really one perfect answer. It's going to be a little bit of a
Yeah.
compromise.
It just seemed confusing to me to have like multiple signs
Yeah,
for
because
multiple
we
uses.
kind of have that
Yeah.
currently. That's part of the system we have. Is it's
Well, you have the Forest Service signs, you have, you know, the Jackson Ski Touring signs, you have the
Yeah.
town signs.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, I remember it was initially confusing that there's the Bog Brook Trail, then there's the Boggy Brook
yeah, that's
Ski Trail.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's two haul trails
And then, yeah.
in town. One's for skiing, one's hiking,
Mhm.
and they
the
almost
Halls
touch.
Ledge, the Halls Ledge and the Hall
Right,
Trail. Or,
right. They almost touch at Route 16,
Yeah.
which is another genius maneuver.
Well, it's like the Wildcat River and the Wildcat Valley Trail.
Right.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all
'Cause you can-
basically in one spot. All
Yeah.
that happens in one.
You can
Valley.
ski the Boggy Brook Trail for Jackson Ski Touring, or you can ski the Bog Brook Trail on Forest Service, but they're two different trails
Yes.
that cross
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
And the Boggy Brook, does that go down the logging road? Is
Boggy
that-
Brook's the one
Yes.
that goes down and just ends at the landing. And then
And
Bog
then-
Brook goes to the Wild
So it goes
River.
over the-
And there's
Maybe go down
Wildcat
to-
River and there's a Wildcat Brook too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's all.
Just lots of similar names.
Wildcat River and
Wildcat
Wild
Wild
Brook.
River.
Wild River
Yeah, there's a
Valley.
Wild
In the
River.
Wild River, yeah.
Or is it Wild River Valley?
So that whole area is a little, it's just,
I think that if we, I guess to go back to my initial comment, I think if all we're doing is just the Hall's Ledge, then I think that's probably fine.
That's really all we're talking about.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know, I just feel like if you pull up and there's like Forest Service signs that have a style, and this basically looks like a Forest Service sign.
Yeah, I
So
basically, I mean, this is, you know, like I basically took the 4-page Forest Service thing that I used in the Forest Service and
Yeah.
turned it into this.
you
Um,
get sued for this.
No, it's like the standard for the way, yeah.
Yeah,
And I think-
I'd be okay with that. I mean, as long as we have a standard and it's obvious and
Yeah,
when we
Yeah.
put it up, we don't all go up there and go, oh, now there's
Yeah.
3 different ways to read this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, in the Forest Service, when they put up the Hall's Ledge trailhead sign, they did it in their standard, which is brown with white letters.
Mm.
You know, and then like the AMC uses white with green letters, the RMC does something else, you know, the Chicoro Mountain Club does something else.
white and black, I think is RMC, right?
Yeah, white and black.
I think RMC is white and black.
Yeah, so I didn't know if we wanted to match the brown with white, or that's why I left that blank, if we wanted to paint our signs. If we were gonna get them routed.
Probably should be different.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Green and ice gold, Jamaica. Tropical.
Couldn't we do white and green? No, that's like AMC.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
totally could do white and green. All right, white background.
Does towns have a color? Do we have a color?
What's on the town seal?
I
The
don't
bird
know.
is the,
Rest.
Does the
Chartreuse.
does the school have any sports teams?
the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Is it
No
Jaguars?
way.
Yeah.
Do they have a color?
Jaguars?
Soccer team, what are you?
Oh yeah,
Never
That's
was a big
right.
fan of
You're-
Jaguar.
I'm a parent of a
Parent of a
Jaguar. I went to the soccer
I
games.
see around here.
So it's white
It's
with
pretty
green?
to see around here.
Yeah.
Only on the
Great.
road.
Sounds
And I
good
think-
to me.
I think if all we're doing is the Hall's Ledge Trail,
Yeah.
then I also think that blazing that road would be fine. If it's just a few blazes on that road.
Okay,
I think people go up there and they literally have no idea where they're going.
all right.
I think lots of people go up there, walk a little ways up and down some of the Forest Service roads,
Yeah.
and then just get in their car and
We
drive back.
witnessed that one
And are
day.
kind of like, well, that was
Lane.
nice, you know? Yeah, lame, yeah,
Or they
all
walk
right.
to the first river.
I mean, we could
I've
also
seen
try
that.
on the town website to link to the online White Mountain Guide, which has a very good description of how to get to Hall's Ledge
Yeah.
from both directions. And it, you know, it says it's confusing. It's on old logging roads that are also assigned
Actually,
to.
look at the town of Jackson website, you think?
Well, that's our only way to disseminate information, which is why I say it.
We could also check with the hotels that have those little brochures to see if they have that description. I mean, it's
Oh
definitely more
yeah,
than that's
that day that we
necessary.
were up there was a British couple from England that had this little brochure and
They
we
were
were,
headed out the logging road, was that Wildcat?
yeah,
Logging road.
across from the orchard.
Right.
So we could just maybe
Really
at
looking for the Hall
the,
Trail.
go to it's probably the Chamber of Commerce that puts it
revise
out and just
that.
say, hey, can you include this paragraph
Yeah.
courtesy of White Mountain Guide
Because
or
we were
whatever?
like, what do you read?
Anybody want
Where'd you get
to
that?
take on that task?
I'm more of an idea man myself.
I
Still,
will.
it's dumbfounded
I'll do
that
it.
people get so confused
All right,
up there.
thank you,
So-
Margaret. So,
You get to write the themes for Prospect Farm signs.
all right, so we'll adopt these trail guidelines. I will inquire as to whether we can get 2 trail signs made. One that will go where the Quail Trail leaves the Hall's Ledge hiking trail that says Hall's Trail with arrows pointing up and down the logging road. Another one at the orchard that confirms you go up and down the logging road.
And then,
And do we want to get a sign for the
Could we-
kiosk that says something to make it more visible rather than spinning it?
yeah, I don't think we should spin it.
Called flashing red light.
We could put a sign that just says Prospect Farm.
Like now, I mean, there's a sign that says now leaving Prospect Farm. We could have one right at Camp Gout, or I don't know, however we could, that says now entering Prospect Farm.
Or I think you do it on the kiosk. I think
You could
it's
put it on
just
the
draw
kiosk.
people.
Yeah.
Who cares if
Kiosk,
it
yeah.
technically starts 50 feet in front
Yeah.
of it or below it, whatever, but just. And does that include the sign, or did we already have this conversation at the height of land where the Wildcat Valley Trail forks and the Hall Trail goes Hall Trail,
Goes left.
did we say that we need a sign there, or there is a sign?
There's two there.
I think there's also just an arrow that points to the left.
There's definitely an arrow on the left tree
Mhm.
it's like, you have to kind of look for it, but it's
There's an arrow on a left tree and an arrow on a straight
Right, but
tree.
what does the arrow
Mean,
mean? I mean, it doesn't mean anything if you don't know.
Oh, that's true, it's just an arrow.
Right.
No, no, no.
Does it- wait,
it
no, it says- you're right,
it says Hell's Ledge.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
says
mean,
Hell's Ledge.
I've never had a problem, so this whole thing to me
Yeah.
seems ridiculous.
And
be
if
honest.
if it gets blazed out there, that's where everyone's gonna go. They'll
I
just
mean-
follow the blazes.
I never had a problem finding any of this stuff. 20 years ago, we just park your car and you pull your map and you go find it, but apparently people can't do that. So we should make it at least easy enough.
All right.
You had no list, remember?
Trying.
Those colors were ice green and gold. Okay, sure. Curious.
And do you want me to just have, if we can, just have them get
Mike's
made?
ice cream?
Regardless, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You heard about
And we'll pay
Jamaican
for it
flag
next
colors?
No,
Okay, great.
but I'll add it in.
No, no, no.
Unless it's $1,000 a sign, in which case you can call me and I'll pull out my recorder.
Yeah, that yellow.
Otherwise,
Have the fancy tracing
I got
machine.
No time to do
What
it.
was your ice green and gold?
Ice
Okay.
cream gold.
So the trail signs we'll have made, we're gonna table the interpretive signs right now.
Yeah,
Is that what we're, okay.
I think so.
Well, Mike,
And then
you
the,
Table.
should just sit down and do it.
Tabled,
Let's rip off the Band-Aid and
tabled,
just pump it out, please.
The interpretive signs?
Yes.
tabled.
Unless we're not actually gonna use them, is that why we're tabling it?
Yeah.
well, Mike
what-
is arguing for not using them.
No, no, no. I'm arguing for like, let's doing like prioritizing and getting the stuff that makes more sense to get done first. Because it makes more sense to me that it's like clear, you know where you are, you know to get where you want to get before you start the
Yeah,
next step.
that makes sense.
And I said it could just be because I'm kicking the can, but it seems
All
to
right.
make sense to me.
How about we'll under table it though, you could keep working on it for the December meeting. We'll see how we feel then.
Mike,
Right.
we're
That's-
gonna do this
All right.
together. We're gonna just do this.
And to the
She knows it,
kiosk
too.
map, it would be the next thing, is do we want to update that map? I know it's only 2 years old. We've had, I feel like within and without kind of comments about the map. That it's a little bit unreadable, hard to use, and that you can't print it out. So I don't know if we wanted to deal with that now or wait until,
I think we should wait.
all right.
I'm the grump, apparently the grump at the lunch.
Because if we were to do something about it, I guess we'd have the choice of whether we continue, I forgot his name, George, the other George.
Howard?
No, the guy.
Greg Howard?
Greg, how?
Greg Howard, is he, who made the map for us? It's our,
that's
oh,
Larry Garland, isn't it?
No.
it's the,
That's,
the consulting.
Don
man.
Johnson.
Don
Don
Johnson,
Johnson.
and management.
So we could either work with Don again, or we could ask Don if he would mind giving us probably his digital file, and then see if Larry from the AMC, who's made maps for lots of nonprofits, would mind
Right.
making the map.
I think if we put up the signs, possibly blazed, I think that would help a lot with the
Yeah.
map. Because I don't know, because if you're up there in the winter, you're using a ski touring map, and you're
Yeah,
following ski
right.
touring signs. And if you're up there in the summer, I think, for the most part, you're just going to Hall's Ledge. I mean, I don't know what other destination
Yeah.
you would go to, I mean, other than just walking.
Just carefree
People might
walking,
wanna
it's
walk
okay.
the Dana Place Trail to the big pond.
But then they pull out the map that has the Dana Place.
Yeah, but that's not like a hiking trail.
That's not on
you
our-
would-
Isn't that
I'm
really
sorry,
wet?
what was the first point?
Mike's
Oh,
point
we're
is that you're
talking about attractive areas.
you're either cross country skiing or you're hiking the Halls Ledge Trail.
Oh.
For the most part, if you're from away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you going anywhere else up there?
And it's not on our property anyway, not that we shouldn't try to include
Yeah.
it, but, I mean, the map's 2 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Just-
we need to, because if we make it like super clear how to get to Hall's Ledge, and then they've got good maps for ski touring, will that map then suffice
For a little, yeah.
for the time being?
And the one thing they did point out is the web link is incorrect on it. So when people are like, "Oh, I can get this map digitally on the Town of Jackson website," that's not actually the right address.
Yeah,
for
like the
Town of Jackson.
school lunches or something.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't, we could always stick. Maybe we could go up and put a little hokey piece of paper under the plexiglass.
Right.
That corrects
gave
the-
the correct
Yeah.
site.
and I can ask Dexter tomorrow if there are any guides left, and if there are not any guides, let's just take the thing down.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Where do you see, is he up at AMC?
You know, he's at
Tin
Tin
Mountain.
Mountain now.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I
You're
think,
no
Mike's-
longer-
Mike's-
No, I'm not in AMC anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm at Tin Mountain now.
so I think that does it for Prospect Farm. I'll talk to Bree from Ski Touring, because say like, we'd like to move towards this, and basically ask
She
them.
never emailed me back.
Yeah.
After
I guess-
emailed her.
Hmm.
I realized the other day.
Because they've already done their trail maintenance up there for the year, but
Mhm.
I know, just to be like, hey, if you move signs, we're trying to have them on a post or a single tree at the intersection, because I think part of the confusion is most of the signs are either brushed in or well down trails.
Right.
And
for-
I'd be willing to, like, if we paid for a 4x4, however, we could put their signs on the town 4x4, work with them to kind of consolidate
I like
signs.
central location, all the signs at the one location
Mhm.
versus a sign at all
Yeah.
Yeah.
four corners.
Well, the stuff that's no longer needed, that's in theory being replaced, should be pulled down.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem, is that it's like a sign is hardly readable, it stays, a new sign gets put someplace else, and now you see both, and
Yeah.
it's, if we do it, to simplify it.
One thing I could find out, maybe we could have a joint work section, is they normally have their volunteers brush the Wildcat Valley Ski Trail, I think in late November. If they're out there on that day, if we wanted to go up and maybe put posts in.
I should have the date, I got asked to be on, I got nominated to be on the board, and I declined the last day. But I got an itinerary of all the
Yeah.
volunteer stuff.
Because I think that'd be the one thing that we could help to consolidate, is to go up with them.
Mhm.
Be like, hey, you can buy posts if you wanted to do it.
Yeah, it
So-
wouldn't be a bad idea if we worked more closely with them, or just were included in maybe a couple more of their discussions.
All right. Done with Prospect Farm. On to Jackson Falls. So, fencing estimates. Out of the 3 companies that I emailed, 2 got back, and I've talked to one basically.
Did Maddie get back to you?
Chris from Black Mountain never got back to me, but he called someone else who called me, and I didn't return his calls because I didn't know how that chain was going.
Do you know who he called?
Yes.
Because I talked to him about it.
Tom at North Country Fence, who said he had talked to Chris from Black
Yeah, well,
Mountain.
that's who I talked to.
All right.
That's one of the names I gave you.
Well, Tom at North Country Fence said he had gotten a call from Chris at Black Mountain Property Management regarding putting it up, and I got confused at that point and didn't call him back, but.
Yeah, that's Tom. I'm trying to think what's his-
So we could call, so I haven't followed up on that one. The other one was Rotten Rock in Town.
Yeah.
And they can't do it this fall, and they gave a super broad guess at an estimate, which would be in the ballpark of $10,000 to buy the fence and install it. So that's kind of on the how do we get it installed side. And then on the other side of how we pay for it,
Is that in the ballpark? Would anyone know? Is that in the ballpark? I know that.
I think if I remember, I think I did because it was 490 feet of fence. I forget it was at least 100 feet per $100 per 10 feet, I think,
The materials.
if we went and bought it ourselves. Right, so that my guess it would have been $5,000 for
Mhm.
materials, and then my rough estimate is to double the materials to get labor.
Mhm.
So to me, that's ballpark.
And
But
that's with the split rail?
that would be the 2-rail split rail.
I think we should size down our expectations, what we intend to do.
Yeah, so that, so that's kind of where we are on getting, so it kind of looks like, unless we really, so Rotten Rock wouldn't be able to do it this fall. I don't know about the company and what, if we wanted to still push for this fall. And then as far as paying for it goes, we have the Wildcat Trust, blah, blah, blah. Well, I can hand you the terms of the trust, but it basically says we can funds for the care and preservation of Jackson Falls in the town of Jackson, northerly side of the river, blah, blah, blah. It says for benches that might exist and for addition of other benches. care and preservation of the trees on the northerly bank of the stream, care and preservation of the bank itself,
That's,
so it will not be eroded.
that's what the
That
text
sounds,
said,
yeah, that sounds like that's-
Preservation of the
Yep.
bank.
And the process to access those funds would be to write a formal proposal for exactly what we want to do. You know, so it would be, we want 490 feet of fence in these locations, and then we would, the trustees of trust would go over that and this, which they provided to us, just to make sure that we were gonna be okay, and then we would have to get a real estimate, an actual estimate, and submit it into the town budgeting process. And then they would, as part of the town budget, then next year, the trustees of trust could give the money to us to do that.
Do you, okay, so does it have to get voted on by
Yes,
the?
and it has to be voted on at town meeting for the trustees of trust to release that fund.
Oh, right, so it's gotta be approved by the town
Yeah.
first, by the people, and they
Yes.
gotta front it, and
Yeah.
then
Yes, and then we gotta be paid back.
that
from
makes
the
it harder to
trust.
sell.
So that's kind of like the whole process. So I was going to meet with Julie tomorrow, because the other option is we could just pay for it out of, what do you call it? Yeah, I forget what, we basically have. Our money market account that is paid for by the change in use.
Land use.
Land use, you know, so we have $24,000 available to us from that, which we control directly. And because the selectmen have approved this, we could pay for it out of that $24,000. And the question I had for Julie, which I'll ask tomorrow, is that if we paid for it, could the trust then pay back?
I think that's
Our
what Dave said it could work out that way.
Which means we could then just do it at
Do
any
it any
time.
time.
And then get the money back after town meeting next year or
But
something
if
like that.
people have to vote on it, how does that work?
Well,
I assume
To release
because
the funds.
because it would be part of the town budget, so it would be a line item in the town budget for the trustees of trusts to release the money from the trust to the town to then pay back.
but aren't we basically saying that they're borrowing the money from the town only to be reimbursed?
Yes, from the trust.
How much money is in the trust?
23,000.
No, the trust-
Current use of the,
It's over here. And we can only spend it, or the trustees can only spend the income, not the principal. Which looks like it's basically $20,000 that's available.
it's an income, wow.
So it was a $10,000 initial bequest,
Mhm.
and it's grown to $30,000.
Must not have been used at all.
Yep. So the 10,000 would be half of what's available to be used. Yeah. And if we wanted to do all of that, the budget we'd have to have all this information to the town by the 15th of December to start being part of the budget process.
I wonder if we could also maybe talk to people who are supplying the materials or something like that as to whether or not a discount or
Yeah.
a donation might be made in terms of reducing the price for the Jackson Falls.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking my neighbor got all these donations for like the community center in North Conway,
Mm-hmm. I do, yep.
so.
Have a little sign on it.
Just start a GoFundMe site.
Yeah, so that, yeah, I guess, you know, however we want to go from here, because I'm open to any way to go forward. So it looks like we would, at this point, basically be getting estimates to have somebody install it in the spring, after snow melt, to have it ready for next summer. And then the question would be, how much, if we wanted to spend the full amount, or, you know, if we want to pursue donations.
Well, we could try to get it voted on before the spring, and if people don't approve it, then we pay for it ourselves. Is that my correct
Seems-
understanding?
Yeah, that seems squirrely there, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, we've already got the selectmen's approval, which is technically all that we
So
need,
what are they voting for? Just to transfer, to access those funds?
just to pay
Yes.
for
Just
it.
to pay, right?
Yeah, this is, I forget how do you, is it Helene or Helen?
Helene,
Helene.
Dave's wife.
Yep, Dave's wife, who is on she's the,
Trustee.
Maybe.
yep, she said this is the process to have, she was calling basically the trust a third-party source of income in order for that to pay for town activities, it has to go through this process where the town votes on it and has it be part of the budget
I
process.
don't know, what else do we need 24,000 for? Let's just pay for it and do it.
Although this is a lot of money
Yeah.
for a very little stretch of river.
And for a
know,
temporary,
I-
it's a temporary.
It covers from the Upper Falls to the bridge over the Glen Ellis River. So from Upper Falls to
Here,
here.
yeah,
That's not a huge stretch
yeah.
of river, and that's a lot of money for,
It's just what the use is, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, and it's, we're basically spending a lot Upper Falls, not on the benches along the way.
I mean, maybe.
And presumably any other town entity could also ask the trustees for this money to, I don't know,
Maybe
install
another
more
way
benches.
is to ask for only part of it and have the Conservation Commission match it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
ask
That's a
the
good idea.
town, hey,
Yeah.
Yep,
trustees, we'd like to, we'll put in this to the pot, could you match it?
yep,
At least that way people don't feel like
Oh,
we're
yeah.
just taking it.
yep.
It's gonna be, I mean, honestly, I think we'd really have to, I don't think people would have a problem with it if they embraced it. I think initially
Yeah.
they'd just be like, "Pff, this is stupid, but I think we'd really have to present something like paper form where people really understand like why and,
Mhm.
you know, the idea of a fence, people, they're not, even if you say split rail, they're not gonna see that in their mind. They're gonna see something that stops them from seeing what they wanna see. Somehow we'd have to be,
You could have like a night where people come to the Whitney Center, do like a presentation on it.
At the split rail fence at the Whitney Center.
Yeah, exactly.
stand behind it, look, you can see through.
Exhibit A.
This is what we're talking about.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money. I mean, the number is, I just don't know if people embrace that and be like,
Because the point is-
$15,000
yeah.
for this thing that a lot of people just look at and they don't see a problem with it as much as there is, but just because it's not being ignorant, they just drive by it.
Yeah.
And my thought too is that the objective is to remove the fence.
Once the brush is up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a temporary thing too, so.
Yeah, I mean, the fence would probably
temporary for a
last
few years,
like,
Obviously.
yeah, I imagine a cedar fence, if we didn't maintain it at all, would last,
12 years.
Yeah,
Tops
you know.
anyway.
But
yeah.
I would
I
say.
guess when we take down the fence, do we think that the vegetation will be enough for people to not trample it all over again? Like, I'm inclined to say once it's up there,
Probably would be there for a while.
maybe it should just stay.
Maybe longer than 5
Well,
years.
you'll develop a pathway that I think is natural that people would
Right.
be foolish to walk beyond. I mean, it already, to me, I go, you know, I ride by there quite a bit and it feels different to me than it used to. You know, I mean, I feel like there's more of a correct way to enter and exit. Even if you took away the string, you still see the usage has adjusted and it shows, you know, I mean, you kind of have to be, it needs more.
Yeah.
And the fence would definitely help. The reason I'm saying that is just that I think that we're on the right path. I mean, it is, no pun intended, that it is sort of developing and you feel like when you're walking in the right place, whereas before you really, it did feel like a free-for-all. You could just walk and you didn't feel like, I mean, I did, like, oh, I shouldn't walk here, but you could see people don't even lift
Yeah.
their head up. And now it's
Unless
getting
you're-
there.
Unless you're New Hampshire Electric Co-op, did anybody notice? They came and, you know, they cut down a lot of stuff. They even cut the one remaining hemlock tree up by the Green Bridge. And then they went up and they trampled. I'm not kidding you. They cut things down that were like that big around and they trampled on all the ferns. So even though we were protecting it from above, they still came in and like stomped on everything.
Yeah.
Big
Oh,
boots.
like on this side of the bridge?
They
On
took
the one right
Downside
side?
of the bridge,
Yeah.
where we planted all the stuff.
Yeah.
And the ferns were coming back.
Is there even a power line there? I've never paid attention.
I know. Because I was kind of annoyed. I thought it might be the town, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, I think there's a power line.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah,
They
and
cut
that-
the hemlock down. It's like,
Did you see they cut all the trees in front of that guy's house? I'm not gonna
Yes.
say his name.
Yeah,
But they cut all the trees
safety.
in. I would be so mad if that were me.
Yeah, his
Lost
whole
all
yard
this
is
entire-
exposed now. They were
yeah,
beautiful
screen
cedar
privacy.
trees too.
well, and
Um,
what they did in front of the church,
Yeah.
you know, those
Yeah.
beautiful
It's all
trees they had,
different.
crabapple trees or whatever.
I think matching is a good idea, and I think pursuing this. I mean, this is a lot of money for a stretch of river
Yeah.
that I mean, the most use is up there, and then maybe right along here, along this little walk. But I mean, that's a lot of money.
And there's money set aside to protect the area.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, when was the last
at the-
time it was ever tapped, if ever?
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like it's a lot of money sitting there for this sort of thing.
Okay. So I guess we need, the next step would to be to come up with the actual written proposal for the fence. Anyone want to help me do that?
I can
Or
do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
And maybe we need to see if we can't button in, tighten up that estimate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We could be $5,000 off. I mean, obviously we'd have to get a true estimate, but just
Yeah.
the number we're throwing around right now.
Yes.
Maybe Nat Lucy says, hey, I'll pitch in, I'll sell you
Yep.
the poster for cost, or we buy it and someone doesn't add 20% to the cost outright,
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be nice for that proposal to find the report that, who's the soil?
Greg Howard.
Greg Howard came out, and
Yeah.
that way we can
Yep.
use some official language,
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think it's important.
that sort of thing.
It's all I have to do is get a couple of the right people on board, and it's amazing how quick other people's fall in line.
And
Yeah.
people will probably be very happy not to have to see the strings hanging down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we should boast that the strings have been successful. We just feel that it's not something
It's
that's
hard to maintain.
we can maintain, and it's not good to look at. But the outcome,
Mm,
it's definitely working between that and the brush.
Yeah.
Would you mind chasing down estimates?
No.
Okay, I can give you everything. I basically,
Yeah.
it's the two were Rotten Rocket.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to Todd.
I think you could save if it's $5,000 in materials
Yeah.
alone. You could probably save $1,000 right there just by being the source who brings them in.
Yeah.
Just getting them from a supplier outright. Maybe save 30%.
And I do think that if we had the fence up for 10 years, I think typically when vegetation is higher than one's knee, 85% of people are not going to want to walk through it. I really liked, I don't remember who it was, that had the idea of just putting signs that said poison ivy. It's like, man, that's so funny. That's such a good, it's so true. If you saw it outside, like,
And
that.
or you just put up the sign that says lime ticks. Like,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
what a lime tick looks like, and people are like, "Oh, look at the falls from my car driving by." Perfect.
How to free up the parking lot.
Exactly.
All right. So that sounds pretty good. Mike and I will work on the proposal. You'll get us estimates.
You can send me any info you had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you
Hey.
remember going to get the no parking signs over there?
Yeah. So I emailed. I also emailed Pat this weekend. I was like, I've been supposed to do this for a long time, and he
That's
asked if
good
I
idea.
could meet him up there, and basically said, "Can I put him up next spring, so that they don't just rust over the winter or get beat on for a time when there's already a parking ban," which I didn't realize.
Mhm.
And I kind of went through the mowing stuff too that we had talked about, and mentioned that we're looking at this fence, and at that point I'd like him to talk to whoever actually installs it just to make sure we've got the setbacks right and that his plowing zones are okay and all of that.
Would the town ever be somebody that town employees could install that?
They don't
fence or
have the
something?
auger. They said,
Yeah, Pat said they don't have the equipment to do it. They
but
don't.
You could rent it.
10 grand.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
if we're supplying that money, maybe it's worth giving them, offering it to them to see if they would do it.
Yeah. Sure, I'm open to anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter to
We're
me.
not
We can
going
match it
anywhere.
up.
Match funds for it, so it's,
Yeah,
you know,
pay ourselves.
We could also have a bake sale.
up there while the falls is in.
Oh my God, can you imagine? That'd be sweet.
That would be cool. Have a big fall party.
Lemonade and cookies.
You
What's
need-
going
you need
on
to pour
with the
pots
garbage
up.
can discussion? We're not gonna have garbage cans up there.
Mhm.
Correct.
Good.
No garbage cans.
I get asked that the other.
There'll be a porta potty in the spring with a
Did
house.
anyone notice that the porta potty house is empty?
Yes.
Yeah, they put it
It's
in
a
the
seasonal license.
in the
They
old
took it away?
Wentworth. Yeah, the Wentworth
Wasn't
old
it here
garage.
for like a month, if that?
Well, they were just starting the process
So
to
it's
see.
only for the summer?
So are they
It's
all-
not going to be where it is located. It's going to get moved further in.
But yes, it's
Oh, it's
basically
gonna-
like the summer through leaf peeping season.
Yeah.
So do they own it? Is that why they put it in the?
Well, no, they own the
garage?
box, but they don't own the
Oh,
porta
they put the
potty.
box in the garage.
The box is
I was
in the
gonna say,
garage.
that'd be fun.
I was gonna say, I
Funny
drove
they
by
own the
yesterday and
porta-
saw the empty box.
Yeah.
Where's
Oh,
the,
no,
where's the
box.
box gonna go? He says it's gonna go farther down?
Further down, yeah.
And like onto the tennis courts or further down? Up
Further down towards the tennis courts, towards the library parking.
All right, Gray's Inn. I'll try to be quick to get us out of here. Or an hour and 5 minutes. I don't have much. Well, I guess for Gray's Inn, if we, now that we've adopted
Can we
trail
back up- Sorry,
guidelines.
can we back to this? Do we want to take all the string and all the other stuff down?
Oh yeah, sorry, I totally
Oh,
skipped
yeah,
over
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes, I do
Like-
think we should take the string and the stakes
Like
down.
before snow, like
Yes.
take it all out the ground,
Yes.
everything that we, okay?
Yes,
Really?
yes. Because otherwise it just looks gross all winter.
Well,
But
it's-
people still trample all around in the wintertime.
They do, but, well, I guess that's the question to the group at
Well,
large.
last year I did take down the fence and the string that I could get after it snowed and there was just snowbanks, so I was like,
I think we
But
should take it
it was
out.
clean, it was much cleaner when you take them down, but you might want to wait for a snow.
Wait for the snow?
I don't know, just a thought.
'Cause then they'll be frozen in.
Well, we got warm days and people are still going up there. I mean, like, there were people laying on the rocks last week when I drove.
Well, we could just pick a date to pull it up. I mean, it really just comes down to do we pull it up or not?
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the time frame. I
Well,
mean,
it's
there's
starting to
also,
look a little sloppy. let's say.
there's also a
Yes.
spring season, which is probably the most important time to have it be protected, but
Yeah. We'll have our
gonna-
fence by then, right?
should we,
Well,
should
yeah,
we
but
leave the
if the ground is
stakes?
still frozen, we're
Well,
not
why
gonna be
don't we
able to
just
get
leave the stakes and
fence
pull
in.
the string? Leave the stakes, so if the string, if it doesn't work out, we can quickly tie string onto our
Okay, I
existing
guess I
stakes
could agree to that.
in the spring, because who knows? I mean, everybody who says they could do it, they might say, yeah, I can do it in the spring. My spring is June 5th,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, when summer, June 20th or something?
Last year the stakes got plowed, you know, by the big parking areas. They
They'll
got-
probably get trashed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
they-
imagine they will, again, also.
So let's pull them.
I think we should pull them.
All right, sounds like,
Because we
If-
could always put them back.
If we
in
had
the
to, we could
spring.
put them up in the spring.
Right, it's easy
yeah.
enough,
It's
yeah.
fun.
okay, what date do we want to pull the stakes? We should have a work session.
After Thanksgiving dinner.
What is there, 2 weekends between now and Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Want to do it that
2 weeks
last,
from Thursday.
weekend.
Just like a full-fledged work session?
either,
'Cause
or,
I can go up on it after work and just start yanking them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need
Okay.
a gate.
I can
Yeah, I
certainly-
don't
I can
think-
certainly take the ones down by.
I spent so much
just,
time putting strings and things up there this summer that I'd be happy to take them all down.
Yeah.
okay, great. We don't have a place officially to store the stakes yet.
Oh, trash.
Wait, I
them.
thought we just decided to keep the stakes.
No. Where have you been?
The group has switched.
While he was typing, sorry.
We're taking them down.
We should take
All
them down.
stakes do, but they don't look bad.
No, they're feeling they're gonna break, and he's right. They plow, the way they plow that.
They did break
They're-
them last
Well,
year.
what about some of the stakes that aren't right on
Right,
the
I
road?
agree. I agree. I think we should see about the area that aren't gonna get broken and leave those in the ground. Take
The
the
fact is
ones.
that there's really not, I mean, all things considered, there's just not that much traffic up there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just really not many people up there.
But in the
I agree.
winter time, when they're frozen over, there will be.
Yeah, but that
Well,
doesn't matter where people walk, as
yeah.
far as erosion goes.
I think they get pulled. You just pull them and save them. And I think we should put them in the town garage.
I think it'd be worth saving.
Yeah, I think they're
Yeah.
worth saving.
Yeah, they're oak.
I
Yeah, they're
have some
oak.
under my deck still from last year.
I'm not a saver.
I will, when I,
Come on.
all right.
You're keeping people off your deck.
They're
I think we
lying
save
down,
'em.
keeping the
Okay.
chipmunks just run.
Chipmunks, I let the chipmunks now. Stay out.
I will try to remember to ask Pat when I talk with him about the signs. the
Remember
number
our
of
locker
signs.
that we were gonna get?
Yeah, if we can just throw stuff in a corner. Put a
Right.
big sign over
That
with
was-
marker. Conservation Commission.
Put them in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take over that.
Oh, the
PT.
box.
Just put them in the box and then, no, it's us. Who's gonna check that
They'll
box?
probably be psyched.
Once we get the box for the new porta
What
potty.
box are you talking about?
The
Oh,
porta
that
potty.
little shed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Box.
What would be the reason to save partially rotten wooden stakes?
They're not
They're
gonna
not
be
rotten.
rotten.
They're not
Come
Some will
now.
be good, some will
They're
be
sitting
okay.
in-
Pull them out of the ground.
No,
No, they're
we
not.
reuse the same ones for our tomatoes every year.
Yeah, the oak
And
stand.
plus, they're sitting in like rock. They're
Although,
not
I don't
sitting
know.
in dirt.
Alright.
Although assuming we get our fencing next year, we may not need them. But-
We'll have a use for them.
Yeah.
We can donate them to the
Right.
tomato farmers.
Okay, so what is the date that we want to remove everything?
Mark has volunteered to go do it. I think is
He
what's
has to
Wow.
throw everything out. Now,
Now that I have to save them all, I'm not sure. I want
right,
to.
he's just gonna throw them in the river.
I'll do the Green Bridge part, I'll do that, that's no problem.
All right.
It's 5
I'll do the
minutes
main
to pull.
parking lot at the very least.
All right.
Next couple of days.
great. And I will ask Pat if we could stick them in the town garage. And
What-
But you're gonna save the stakes, right?
yes.
If
What I
that's
could
what we
do,
agree
what I
on,
could
I'll
do
do
is throw
the
the
stakes,
sticks
okay.
down the path so they won't walk on it.
There you go.
I mean, would you save those stakes?
I just throw it in the river. I just go right in that
Oh,
river.
that's right, if you leave them, they'll throw them down.
All right. So we'll take down the stakes. We'll save them.
Alright.
All right. On to Gray's Inn.
I'll add them to my pile.
I don't have anything really for Gray's Inn besides at some point we should also get signs for it. We've never gotten
Does
that.
anyone walk out there? Really?
Yeah, they do.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm out there a lot, actually.
Okay, alright.
We go out there. My family goes out there sometimes, and I've heard other people say that they've.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Last time I walked that trail, it was so overrun with poison ivy, I couldn't put my feet down on it.
Where are you talking about?
In the field
At the
part,
very beginning.
at
That's
the
what.
very
That's what I
beginning.
was complaining about it getting mowed, but it's mowed now.
It's
awful.
mowed.
But even when it's cut short, there's still tons of poison ivy.
I've never gotten poison ivy.
Do you get it?
I guess not.
Okay.
Well,
used to.
Some people do.
Do we want to get any signs made for that trail? I guess would be the question, or do we want to just deal with that next year? Well, I'm asking to have signs made.
I'm not a big sign guy, apparently.
Because we've been talking about for years now, right? Like a sign either at the parking lot or at the trailhead with the actual name of the trail, which,
Well, now that the parking lot is like a parking lot,
you know,
I think that's the.
Yeah.
But
There's
we-
I mean, there's like that temporary sign that's up there.
I wouldn't even remember that.
Yeah, there's like a little temporary sign that's
At the
back
end
there.
of the grassy zone?
Yeah, at the end of the parking lot.
We had this concern about if the kiosk should be down there, or if people are parking at the town hall, and then they miss it. So it should be.
Yeah.
It should be there. Okay.
I like that
Are
trail.
the interpretive signs still out there, or do they look
Yeah,
like
they are.
trash now?
No, they look nice.
Okay.
You guys did a nice job.
All right.
That's good.
Why don't you walk that trail more often?
I mean,
I need to go down there and walk that trail.
it's like a
Wait
half
for
a
the poison
mile.
ivy.
It ties into so many that you haven't explored.
Well, maybe
We
you
should
should
do
tell me now,
a-
because
Meeting and go walk all the stuff there is to walk off of that, like the
It's a really good
Wigglesworth
idea.
Trail.
the Woodsworth Trail?
Wiggle Peace.
How do you
Yeah,
get to
like
the?
all
I
my
want to go to
secrets.
the. Is it Christmas Mountain? What's the rock cliff that's right back there?
Wigglesworth.
That's,
What's that? I want to go to that.
is that, it goes over
I
the
Wigglesworth.
don't know,
Christmas
but
mountain.
you have to
You
go to that
overlook-
poison ivy.
Yeah, it's like there's like a huge
All right,
rock
all
cliff
right,
there,
all
right?
right.
Get covered
With a
by
with
it.
a s- with a cool.
Do we want
iron
a sign?
Fence.
No.
There's
I vote for
serious
no
trail back
signs.
there.
All right.
You guys are just.
For signs right here.
Yes. Do we want, while we're asking the AMZ to make signs, do
Why
we
would
want
we not want to sign it? I mean,
I would want a sign there, but to me, it's more important that it gets mowed, because if it's not mowed regularly, then no one will go back there, and the sign is useless. That's my
Because
thought
of
on
the
it.
ticks and the poison ivy.
Because ticks and poison ivy, and otherwise you walk back there and it's like waist high grass, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
So mowing from the grassy
part.
part to the bridge.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
if you're gonna
I think
do it-
that's more important. And
I
then
think-
if that's done, then signs make sense.
I think if you're gonna do it, you need to mow both ends, because I think it's silly to only do one end.
Oh, you mean like mow from here as well?
It should be a loop. Yeah. You should have both ends, because the orchard's
Some
cool to
kind of
walk
power
through.
sign.
I didn't even know there was trail.
It's time to go.
Well, went out and
You're gonna
crossed the
die.
ski trail,
That's my
so
650
the
move.
snowshoe trail, Thornhill Inn comes in this way, we're here. And we're talking about just doing this, but that, the brook comes through here, and then there's a little orchard.
Mm-hmm.
The Thornhill
Okay,
Inn. I think we should do both.
And this is part, oh, that's like the lower half of the figure eight.
Yeah.
Where's the part out back there that you're on the map?
I wasn't meaning to do this as a map, but we're talking about mowing this part.
But it makes sense to mow the other half.
We should mow the other half.
Oh, I
Here's
don't-
the Thornhill. Because it's nice to be able to walk up, make the loop, come out, and come out like this. Or
Yeah. We talked about, I can't remember, did we put a sign at the apple orchard? I can't remember if we actually put one up there.
for this part, all you have to do is mow to almost like to the town garage line, and then it turns into.
I think we
Trail.
would have put a sign there because it would be,
I know we talked about it, but I
Apple
can't remember if there was
orchard
one there.
I mean, if we're gonna mow, it seems like it would take an extra 10 minutes to mow
Yeah.
either end of that. As you leave the library, you can either bear right and go directly to the
Because that is, I mean, this is like, I mean, I know they send lots of people up to Hall's Ledge, but if you're here on vacation and you want to go
With
for a
little
little
kids,
walk,
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
this
this is awesome.
way more ideal than walking 3 miles round trip up,
And
uphill to Hall's Ledge and
There's
back.
cool glacier erratics, there's some huge trees.
Sounds
Just
like
a
a
few-
good
For the kind of people that want to, there's a mystery house.
Yeah.
For the kind of people that want to go for like, a walk.
Right, and I mean, it takes 25 minutes. It's
Yeah.
perfect for a little chap.
Okay.
Or chappy. Chappess.
All right.
And soon.
So no, all right. I will not do anything about a sign for that currently.
Well, we should try to go for a walk up there and
All right.
and see how much there is that ties off of that, because there's a lot of hiking.
Maybe
lot
by
of-
then we can buy some yellow paint, because I proposed switching that from whatever those orange blazes that Larry nailed up to yellow paint,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is kind of the standard for trails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like that too.
Okay. So no, all right. And
Well, I'm not anti-sign, I'm just saying it makes more sense to like make sure it's mowed.
Yeah.
Right,
maintained.
approachable.
Yeah, approachable and then signs. So I'm
Okay.
not saying no sign.
All right.
And maybe it makes sense if the guy's like, oh yeah, it's an extra, whatever, I can
I'm
make this
sure.
sign too.
Well, the winter, if we wanted to have it for next spring, it would have to be sometime this winter.
Yeah.
Well, if they're not much, then maybe it would be a good idea to have them done.
Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah.
All right. If we had one, what do you want to say? Mystery House Loop Trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the distance?
I think it's a half-mile round trip. Well, actually, I don't know from
Yeah, I don't know. either.
here. I think the loop itself is a half-mile. Maybe the whole thing's a half-mile.
Yeah, just say that.
Half-mile. Yeah, yeah, okay, right, no one's gonna have there with
You could definitely
My
make
Fitbit.
some fun loops off of it too. Larry and I walked several
All right.
good options.
And it would have a, yeah, okay. Need an arrow, it's right at the trailhead, Mystery House Loop Trail, and then underneath it would just say whole loop.
And you're thinking that this would go like,
I think you have to do two. I think you have to do one for the people parking at the library.
yeah.
They look out, they see it, and you have to have one for this.
Across
Yeah.
the field.
I was picturing one across the field, I guess.
Mhm.
Is that what you guys are speaking of?
He's talking about one here at the end of the tennis courts, and he's also talking about one here. at the-
Well, one.
Oh,
one-
sorry, here.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I'm mixed up. I think I'm in the library.
Oh.
One there
In
and
the
one
parking
there.
lot.
I've never been in that part of it, I guess I'm just not,
What's that?
I've only ever walked it that way, I've never been over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's the way I've always.
I think it's 601. I mean, but people do park there, and it were just the fact that they park to go to the library and see a trail sign that says, "Oh, there's a walking trail here." I mean, you're going to get probably more than half of the people who find it by mistake will find it simply from the fact that they parked to go to the library or to go to the town hall and see a trail sign. I don't know. I mean, I like to not
So
see
both
people.
trails leave from this grassy mowed lawn?
Yes.
Yeah.
One goes to the bridge and one goes upstream and then crosses through the apple trees and across the stream again?
Well, you can do the same. They meet and then they fork.
It's like, yeah, the distance
They're
you're talking about is
literally,
like,
you can see one from the other,
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
you?
Yeah.
You've been there, Tom.
Yeah, you have.
let's walk out there
All
sometime.
right. I just, if I'm gonna ask to get it made, I don't understand. I'm not comprehending what I'm asking to have made.
Okay.
Let's
I
walk
think
out
you
there.
just make 3 signs that say Mystery House Loop.
And you can say 0.2, 0.5, 1.
I do think if we're gonna put the mileage on it, we should have the correct mileage.
I don't know how to ascertain the correct
Can we
mileage.
just take it someone's GPS
Larry
and
Garland
walk
has
it?
it because he made
I
this.
thought someone did
he
it.
made
I
the
thought
map.
we-
I
You
didn't
Larry-
have the GPS, just walk it with the GPS.
I don't think it's not that accurate.
And you just walk it with the wheel that either,
Yeah. it could
My
be over the-
sister's iPhone has like you've walked 4 miles today. I'll just get her
But
to do
Fitbit,
it.
how is it good for if you've walked a quarter mile? How accurate is it within a half mile though?
Well,
I mean, I don't think you need, I mean, honestly, mileage, you say the thing's a half mile long, and if someone really struggles within that half mile, I mean, knowing that it's a
I
quarter
can't
mile.
remember what we put on. I saw there we may have put
together.
like, it's a 30-minute walk. I
Right,
think we may have
exactly.
put
well,
time. I can't
that's what I was
remember
gonna say, is that some like short family walks
Right,
do
I
it by
think-
time.
I think you do it by time, that's
Not by
fine.
mileage,
Let
and that
me-
might be more helpful if that's our
Someone
targeted audience.
draw what I should ask to have made if I'm asking for a
Let's-
sign to be
Why
made.
don't we just, like, sometime this week, why don't we just walk it?
Yeah.
Okay, but I still would like everyone's agreement as to
Yeah.
what we're gonna
I
have
agree
made.
to whatever you guys decide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
if
do
you're just gonna
too.
put mileage on it and the
And the
sign.
name.
Okay.
I wrote Mystery House Loop.
Right,
0.5
it'll be-
miles.
And
It'll
you need
basically-
two of them, one for the
Yeah,
village
right.
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, so everyone's okay if it looks something like this?
Yes,
Mhm.
So you can do one from this end and one from the parking lot.
yeah, so we need two.
Okay.
And then, well, then I guess at some point, maybe like an arrow or something, just for the left. So
Yeah.
for the right, I guess for the right and then the left.
I mean, we don't,
Or blazes.
I guess,
Or, yeah, or blazes.
if we
yeah.
want to simplify it and make the Mystery House loop be the fact that you bear right and you cross the bridge, it's still, we don't have to put any signage on the other part that goes to the orchard, but that should be mowed as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's just say the Mystery House loop is simply bearing right, going up, getting onto the loop, coming out.
Yeah.
If you're wise enough and you can figure out that this other trail comes down and brings you to the library,
Yeah.
you're brave, you know? That's good. We don't have to put signage on that because that's going to make it more confusing.
Okay.
But it should be mowed leading into it because it is it's a really kind of a neat little spot. And it's right on the property.
We should walk more.
Don't get lost.
Maybe I'll go with my parents.
It's actually an excellent hike to take your parents on.
It is?
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be a good one for your parents.
We've
Yeah.
done it with your parents.
I know, but yeah. One
The
more
parent
time.
part overwhelms.
And
Yeah,
then
and
they
it's
can
cool
find
because in the
moles
winter it's
instead.
free for, you know, it's an area for people who come to town who either have pets or don't want to buy a snowshoe pass. You can hike it for free.
Oh, that's true.
And for some people, I mean, honestly, in snowshoes, can be an hour and a half little adventure. Plus, you can go to Wigglesworth.
It would be fun to see how you get to Wigglesworth from there. I've
It's so
gotten there
easy.
from Up on Thornhill Road.
You just follow the signs.
All right,
Literally.
one last item is our contribution to the town annual report is due by January 15th. Which I think in the past I've written like a couple paragraphs of what we've done the last year, the annual report.
Pretty sure I wrote it.
You wrote
the
it?
last
Alright.
2 years.
Great. Margaret, want to write it a third time?
She's
Not
volunteered.
really, actually.
I make an official
You're really
motion
good
to
at that,
nominate
though.
Margaret as the
Absolutely.
direct,
You know, you can do that in 10 minutes.
Okay, fine.
just put the same one as from last year and see if it
I
Just take out little.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Fantastic.
When
I
does
don't-
that have to be done by?
January 15th.
Okay.
So we should get a draft and then I'll agree on it next month. And then we can send it in.
So we managed to draft all the work on Margaret. I second that.
I'll
I
help.
thought she has that kind of table out there, so.
Having a group interview. Me against the board.
Perfect.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Margaret.
Hank.
Right.